What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. The United States versus black men. If black men were the judge, the jury, and the executioner against the United States for crimes against black men, could the United States actually win? You see what I'm saying? Like, because I was, watching the Fred Hampton movie. I was looking at a thing with Muhammad Ali and Dave Cavett on HBO, and it's Black History Month, and the George Floyd thing is about to come up sooner or later, and why the article about redlining, and I started thinking about it like. United States has a funny way of acting like everything was so long ago. Yeah, slavery was so long ago. But what about the stuff y'all was doing last year? 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. See, I remember posing a question on my page, but I pose this question to some non-black people, right? Because they wanted to talk. I was in a place and somebody just wanted to have the race talk. I was like, you can't name me one day in the history of the United States of America where racism didn't exist. You can't. So, if black men say, listen, we had to work for land that you stole and sold to us, and you stole that land too. Is that not a true statement? See, every law that we say is for a law-abiding citizen or for a business owner or for a corporation or just for a human being as an individual was broken when it came to black men. Black men and black people. I'm not, but as a man, I'm just talking about the men. But it includes the women also. The whole medical field can be put in the mix, from the Tuskegee experiment prior to that, with doing the test on females who were quote unquote slaves at the time, which leads all the way up to now with this the overarching thing in the medical field where black people have a high tolerance of pain, which comes from slavery rhetoric. The policing. Personally, I have a thing about. I think the police department and the policing of black people and black men in America, it isn't necessarily racial in the sense that I'm just policing you because of your race. I'm policing you because I don't want your race to go from lower class to middle class to upper class. I want you to be relegated to this because people don't take into consideration when America was quote unquote open and free for everybody to move freely in it, we couldn't. See, you couldn't build a new life and drive from, say, Mississippi to California because you heard about the great things in the West, because if you run out of gas in the wrong place, you get killed or the police will take you, blah, 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 blah. So why didn't these people move in? How they gonna make it from here without you policing them trying to get a better life in a fresh start in a different place in America? Or if you move to a different state, all of a sudden, those laws in that state or the way they quote unquote interpreted the laws or put those laws in actions were advantageous to ruining you because you were black, right? This is the issue. So we want to play this game where, the United States is such a great country. To who? The United States is a great country to predominantly white people who benefit on ruining the lives of black people for them to have more stuff in their house. That's pretty much the basis for this. I had to do that so I could have a better car than you and a better house than you, and I have a better jacket than you. And it makes sense. Wouldn't you do it if you were in my position? Okay. So I will make sure that if your kids went to, you think if your kids went to school and they had dreams of being an astronaut, if I was in your position, I would be a teacher who discourages your kid from being an astronaut because I don't want them to grow up and be an astronaut and make more money to buy a house that's better than mine or buy a car that's better than mine. Nobody's that, I'm sorry, we're just not wired as nutcases like that. But this is what has been prevailing this whole time. And the other thing I thought about, what was interesting about, the Fred Hampton story is something that they put in there about Emmett Till and how he said his mother used to babysit Emmett Till. And I talked to my lady about that, about the Malcolm X thing, about Malcolm X's father being murdered by the Ku Klux Klan when he was a kid, and then thus splitting up the family and this, that, and him wound up being in kind of foster care because of because of that. The very society of even the 60s civil rights era, 50s and 60s civil rights era, really came on the back of white people being terroristic white people because of race. You don't want an uprising, but you don't know who is. You don't know the 6 degrees of separation from Emmett Till, or the 6 degrees of separation from Malcolm X, or the 6 degrees of separation from Martin Luther King prior to them being who they were. You don't know the situation. You don't know the situations you created to cultivate them being so. We get America and we need our own now, and we need to stop trying to. It went from integration and to now we need our own. Because see, people think about the civil rights movement as it was to integrate us. You remember those very people, including Martin Luther King, were like, nah, we need to get money. And that's what wound up getting people subsequently killed. Like, we need to separate, we need to get our own money, we need to build our own stuff again. Which brings me to another point. When people bring up the how many towns and cities, that were ruined that we had already built prior to the civil rights movement. And this idea that, y'all should just build it again. And nobody asked the question, why would we keep building something if you keep destroying it because we got to pay you for the material? So every time we build something, you get to come and destroy it, and you don't have to pay any restitution. And so we build it again, so we got to buy the lumber from you. We got to buy the gas from you. We got to buy the hammers and the nails from you. Oh, we got to buy the materials for the concrete from you. Interesting. So, and even with the redlining part, where moving from, you're not allowed to move in this place, but you're allowed to move in that place. You are allowed to get a loan, but I'm going to double charge and upcharge. But we're all friends, right? We're all God's people. Don't seem godly to me. The land of the free, the home of the brave. Who are the free? And who are the brave? That's the question. We're all entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Who? Who you talking about? Who you talking about? No, you're not talking about us. You're talking about yourself, right? And see, it's part of your life and liberty and pursuit of happiness to make sure that we don't get anything in life. This is what we don't want to talk about that, because anytime we pursue life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, it was so you got angry. America itself even the government got angry. We got to kill them. We got to stop them. We got to burn them down. We got to sabotage them. Oh my God. We can bring into the present day with the whole drug epidemic and the crime and the war on drugs. It's kind of interesting that the same government that brought drugs into this country is the same government that has a war on it. And it's the same government that doesn't lock people up that look like them who participate in it. Very interesting. So we know good and well that it's not about drugs or the war on drugs. You want the money and you want us in jail. Interesting. So, if the United States of America, were taking a trial by black men, you'd be guilty of murder, racketeering, you know, extortion, rape, you know, theft, grand theft, burglary, robbery, arson, pretty much everything that's illegal, quote unquote, perjury, RICO, with pretty much every race included. You can, because organized crime, you get the whole RICO Act. But and if somebody's white, it's like, if somebody of any other race thinks, well, maybe they did something good, I could pretty much guarantee you, whatever you think America did good has something horrible attached to it that they did that involved us. I can pretty much guarantee you that. So try it. Like, share, subscribe, or die. Try and catch you on the next one. Peace.